not, engineer at all. It's just definitely to make the job easier for them.
But it's like just more efficient because I can tell you one thing: engineers also like it when you show up and rap your verse ready to go. An engineer
Exactly.
appreciates it. I mean, every engineer I've talked to on the low has kind of made the comment like if they want to sit there and smoke a joint and talk to me for 45 minutes, they can.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
And you're kind of like,
yeah,
yo,
yeah,
because even like when I was younger, I was stupid with it. I thought it was just
yeah,
like it's so cool to be in the studio, and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
yo, I'm in the studio now. Yo, can I smoke a joint in the
yeah.
studio? Okay, but smoking a
But
joint takes 15 minutes, right? Like that's
yeah,
15
yeah,
minutes of
exactly,
my $30 or
exactly.
$40 an hour session that I
Yeah,
just spent
yeah,
to smoke. And maybe you got to be in the zone, fine, whatever, whatever. But then
exactly,
you're like,
exactly.
I
But
don't know,
remember, that's what it is. Because remember, you're getting some of them is like 2 hours minimum. Remember, there's a minimum. They're not gonna
yeah,
just So if it takes you an hour to cut, then you get an hour to smoke properly and listen to your shit, and then you have another hour to kind of like go back and forth on what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Especially like if it's professional, if you're already, you did it at your cribs, you got an idea, you went in there, you banged it out properly the way you want. Now you get to actually kick back. You don't feel stressed out about putting your work. You can smoke 2, 3 spliffs and listen to the shit. Maybe the engineer might dabble a little bit and start engineering himself, and give you a little too, and then oh, maybe let's go back and fix something, and then you got that little extra hour. So it definitely opens up for that 3 hour to give you the leverage of what you're looking for, just how you do it. You got to
big
work
facts.
smarter.
But it all comes down to practice because we were talking about one takes that other guy, and it's like the idea of one taking is kind of like yeah. Are there moments where you open your mouth and a pure magic comes out and it's perfectly aligned? Yeah, of course
True.
there are. But
True.
most times you rap that shit 100 times and it sounds good. That's the kind of.
Facts. Facts.
I mean, I wish
I agree.
like I when I was young, I was like, yo, one day I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna be able to record everything. It's gonna be fucking. You know what happened? I developed more vocal techniques, and recording takes me 3 times as long now. And then
Yeah.
ad libs, you start thinking about that, and then the next thing, and then it's like, yo, it used to be
It's
like
true.
I recorded all 3 verses in 45 minutes.
It's
Now
true.
it's like a syllable. I don't think I
It's
like how
true.
that one syllable is. Fuck the verse.
It's true. It's funny because we can actually get into the next part of my
Love it.
my
Let's do
recording,
it.
because that's actually a good thing you said, because that's what ended up happening with me when I was actually, because now I started working with True Hunger. Big up to Jay Diligent, definitely another mentor in my life. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to Jay, yo, he's definitely someone to go check him out. When it comes to his music, he's a genius, a wizard. He's definitely another one on the list. Just like Cali, they have their different style, but they definitely are too talented. When it comes to engineering behind these keyboards, hands down. So I started, fucking with him and getting the real sound out of understanding my voice, because not only was doing chorus and these things with Cali and everything, but now I was learning from R&B singers, because that's what they do. They do R&B, and they're actually real R&B singers. So like I was like, oh, this is insane. Blew my mind right there. So imagine me now recording here and then have to go record at these guys' studio, and I'm doing my shit, and these guys are showing me some. Oh well, if you did that kind of harmony like this with what you just did, oh that's crazy, and it blew my mind. So now, exactly what you're saying was end up happening more frequently and frequently, because every time I would do it here, it's like, yo, I go there. Oh my gosh, I look at him for 2 seconds and I feel like I could do it even better. So it was like, oh my gosh, we'd spend hours and hours and hours. It was another repetitive, cycle. It was another cycle again. So definitely, I understand what you're saying. Salute to that. I agree.
Do you ever have like a problem where like you just don't know where to end it? Like you're just in the middle of doing it, and every single fucking time you're trying to rhyme it, you're like, "Yo, I can do it better. I can do it better." And then you spend 3-4 hours, but then it starts getting worse, and then it starts getting worse, and then it
Yeah,
starts getting
yeah,
worse,
yeah,
and then you have no
yeah, yeah.
fucking idea. Then you wake up the next day, and you're just like, "Fuck everything I did yesterday."
Yeah, 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 yeah. I was the king of that. I
Mm,
was the king of that. I used to always be like, scratch it, I'm doing it over. And they yeah, I was the king of that. I'm doing it over, I'm doing it over. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was definitely the king of that. I would tell them like erase it. And they would be like, yeah, yeah, I'm erasing it. And they wouldn't erase nothing. They
never
kept
do.
everything.
Absolutely.
They think yes, just so if they're watching or if they ever watch, you guys, I know you kept the shit. I
Every
know you
time.
kept it.
They keep every fucking thing, every
They
fuck,
keep everything.
every little thing like that too, right? My engineer would be
They
like,
keep
"Yo, that fuck you did at the end. I'm gonna put that in the ad lib bank. It's gonna." And then for all I know, that showed up in a track 4 or 5 months later, right? Like that
there
could
you
even be a
go.
thing that happened. Anyway,
Definitely, I agree. Yeah, man. So yeah, definitely. Learning from these guys, moving more into like um, getting to know my sound was definitely a great impact. But by then, before into that, when I when I when I when I left when when we went our ways, with Cali, let's call it the Cali production because that's really what it was, Cali production, right? Um, the marketing of it was very unique, and I wanted to get into that myself. So that's when I came up with my own logo, the
okay.
Royal Lace, the Royal Lace Enterprise, and took that more serious now.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I did turn, the Royal Lace Enterprise into a business and not just like musically, but entertainment.
Can you clarify the difference between those two things as far as how you see it?
Entertainment is everything that involves anything that can have loud music around it. Let's put it that way.
I like that definition a
Like,
lot.
yeah, because one thing I learned, like I started looking into like the things that I feel like that grab, especially here in Montreal, is that we have so much talent and in so much broad different things. So I started looking into like people that are good at comedy, people that are good at art. Like they know how to paint, they know how to do things. So we always brought music around it, but at the same time we were able to open up and let people like open up shows, for let the youngins open up a show for comedy shows and stuff like that. But this was important. Like you got to wear the brand. You know what I mean? So you wear the brand, go on stage, do your thing or do your painting and look nice. And these are things I wanted to develop. So that's what I took the Royal Lace Enterprise as into entertainment.
I
Right?
like that. And I like that because I feel like I can relate to that myself. I mean, I started off rapping in 2012. So that's when I come into the game. And I spent about 4 years trying to be Mr. Rapper Man. And I'm the worst kind of guy, dude. I'm a save the city type fucker. So I did that for a couple of years. That didn't do me
Yeah,
any good. Plus, I know
yeah,
fuck all about hip hop. Didn't do me any good. So I got my
yeah,
education on. But then I started creating this behind that suit thing. But that's kind of like the bigger thing now. It's not even an I, it's a we, right? Like there's three of us
exactly,
right now that fucking running this
exactly,
shit. So like it's a
exactly,
bigger thing, and it made me have like
exactly.
more perspective with shit, right? And it's not just music. It's everything. It's whatever.
Yeah,
Like yo, we're gonna start a cipher. We're gonna
yeah,
start a this. We're gonna start a that.
yeah.
Um, and it's like I love what you're saying. I like the internet version because I understand that better. But I feel like what you're doing at this time is like the equivalent of what I'm trying to do here on Twitch. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
fuck with what you're saying is super heavy.
Absolutely, absolutely.